So, folks, I had Leon from MKTRedline for a quick online interview chat slash thing, and I've recorded it for you. And I think you'd be really interested because we talk about currencies, the major currencies, euro against the dollar, the pound against the dollar, and the Japanese yen against the dollar. So let's see what I think is going to happen on those currency pairs in the near future, and let's see what MKTRedline thinks about what's going to happen on those pairs in the near future. If you enjoy this sort of content, please consider subscribing to the channel and give the video a thumbs up. And I'll see you in the next video. Enjoy this one. Take care. So, hi, Lee. For the viewers, this is Lee from MKTRedline, MKT Ghost. And we're just going to be talking about currencies. So, welcome, Lee.
Hi.
And perhaps you can just tell us about MKTRedline and MKT Ghost, what it's all about. Then we'll have a look at these currency pairs and see what's going on. I'll tell you what my thoughts are, and then you can say what MKT Ghost says about these, and we can combine the two and come up with a trading plan. What do you think about that?
I think that's a great idea. So let me
All
give
right.
a little bit of background on MKT. So basically what we've got is a specialized piece of software that does what's called holographic decryption. And what it means is it's basically like an X-ray into the interrelationship of flows in currencies. And we get three products off of that. The first one is an alarm product, which is called MKT Pro, and will tell you ahead of time before things happen in the marketplace, because what it does, it detects price moves without corresponding appropriate flows, usually an indicator of a negative market event about to happen, usually in 1 to 4 days. We have another product called Risk Index, which is very useful for understanding the type of market you've got, the changes in the market, the levels of volatility you should expect. And that is very useful for timing entries and exits into S&P and other risk assets. The last product we have, which is called MKT Ghost, gives an actual prediction on Forex. We've got two versions of it, an enterprise version, which I'll be showing today, and a web version for users who want to have the same capability, but in an easy to use web product. And I can show all those. And that's what we have. And it really can help traders in the marketplace, particularly in Forex. You can get an edge with this type of capability.
Cool. So I've been collaborating with you for almost a year now and using your products, and I can say they've certainly helped. One particular incident that reminds me of all of that, or a couple really, but here's one I'll just show you on the charts, which you can perhaps sort of build into what you were saying about it. This is the pound weekly chart. And for those of you who are trading the pound in September last year, sorry, that's the euro, wrong one. For those of you who are trading the pound last year, you will have remembered this huge move down where everyone said the pound was going to go to parity with the dollar. Massive move down. We had a huge gap. And I don't know, that was from 1.16 down to about 1,000 pips in a week or so. But a lot of that 1,000 pips took place in about 2 minutes. And I remember being on the phone with you or online with you at about 1 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning, that fateful evening, which was, to be precise, the 26th of September, 2022. And you said, be careful, there's a major problem coming. You don't know what it is. You can't tell what's going to happen. But there was this massive spike on the MKTRedline gauge. And you said, get out of the market. I got out of the market, not knowing why. You didn't know why. No one knew why. No one was prepared for it. Even the hedge funds and pension funds, a lot of them got wiped out, but I didn't, because I had your software and your warning. So it seems to advise or indicate peculiar. One of the things you can rely on it for is peculiar market events which can't be foreseen in the price movement ahead of time, but you do see it on your gauges and on your index.
Yeah, I mean, let's show the guys what it looks like. It's very simple to use, and I'll just flip and just give them a quick overview, shall I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay.
I'll try and make sure the screen pops up somehow. We did it earlier. I'm sure we can do it again.
Yeah, I'm sure we can. Let me know when you can see the screen.
There we go.
Yeah. So this is MKTRedline Pro. This is a gauge. What it does is when it detects strange movements in the marketplace, which you can't see by looking at the charts, this will shoot up into 100. And in the September that you were referring to, it hit 100 on the 23rd, which was the Friday, totally maxed out. And, you know, you've got words and warning here going, you know, be very careful. It's particularly crazy in the marketplace. And, you know, this gauge is available for traders to have. And basically what we say is if it hits 100, if it's in the red zone, you need to think about the risk you've got, hedge if you need to, because you really don't know what's coming. It could be a black swan.
Okay, so explain in layman's terms what you're measuring behind the scenes there, which eventually reflects in the price later on.
Yeah, so if we go and have a look at this risk index, we've got this risk index, which is, in effect, it's measuring the predictability of the marketplace using interchange flow analysis. So we know that currencies value moves from dollar yen into dollar. Some of it sometimes goes to yen, some of it goes into pound. There's a whole relationship between value of flows where the movement of value is flowing around. Now, when it's very, very smooth, as in when it's below this red line here, what we find is that there is fiat currency creation, bank lending, and that tends to be a boom for risk assets such as S&P and other types of activities. In previous years, where we've seen this very, very spiky, and we've got 3 years worth of data of this, in fact 4, what we tend to see is when it's very spiky and these numbers are, you know, are hitting 80 up here, like the Russian invasion, we tend to see destruction of fiat currency, and therefore the trend on risk assets such as S&P and, you know, Bitcoin and things like that tend to be down, very negative when those happen. So that's what's behind the scenes. We've got this measurement system. It's running 24/5, so 24 hours, 5 days a week. And the gauge is looking at the risk index, and it's showing everybody on it. It's tracking what's going on. So we can see in the week, earlier last week on the 14th, we had a spike just clipped into the red. And we did see some peculiar movements on markets, which you could maybe talk to being the trader. But, you know, nothing catastrophic. But when you're talking about 100 and stuff, then you might get to that. Does that help?
Right. Yeah. So for those Australians, I keep on going on about this, those Australians and British viewers, what is it telling us about the Ashes Test Series and the match at Old Trafford going on right now?
Probably not a lot of anything.
Not a lot. Okay.
Not a
So, all right, I'm going to come back to how people can get hold of your stuff just now. But first of all, I want to look at what's going on, what I think is going on with currencies. And you can tell me what you think is going on with the major currencies. We're going to look at the euro, the pound, and the yen against the US dollar. We don't have time to cover stocks and Bitcoin, although I'm short on stocks and Bitcoin, but it may be premature. But I think we're in agreement on the euro and the pound. So let me just quickly look at these. And I explained it in my stream to members a little earlier. This is the pound. Let's start with the euro. This is the euro weekly chart against the US dollar. And we've seen dollar weakness, and the dollar has broken down through its majors, the dollar index, which I don't have on here. If you track the dollar index, you're going to have a look at where the dollar index is. It's broken down through very important support. And in line with that, the euro broke up above very important resistance over here. This is a weekly chart. So this goes back to the beginning of the year. We're now mid-year. And this level here at 1.1050 roughly was a really important level for the euro. We broke above it decisively and above the 200-week moving average, and we're now heading upwards. I think the euro is heading up to this trend line. This trend line has been in existence for, well, almost 20 years. It's a weekly trend line. It's not perfect at the beginning here, but it's more or less accurate. every time we make a new low on the euro. And bear in mind, the overall trend on the euro is down. It's not up. Over the longer term, since its introduction, it's just been getting progressively weaker, which a lot of people don't realize. And we've seen higher highs, but every time we've moved up, we've gone back to this trend line. This is a 20-year trend line, making lower lows, but the higher highs are back here. And we're seeing dollar breaking down through major support, euro breaking up above important resistance. And we've got this resistance level up here where the trend line is, and this pink zone, which is a very important previous resistance level, consolidation level, area of supply, etc. And that takes us up to about 1.15, 16, maybe even 1.17. That's the euro. A lot of people are bearish on the euro, probably quite rightly because of this long-term trend line, but it's heading upwards first, I think. Same sort of thing on the pound, and we'll have a look at the dollar yen very quickly. I'm going to spend 1 minute on each of these. Pound is a very similar pattern. The pound has been weakening against the dollar for best part of 20 years as well, believe it or not. It's considered to be a strong currency and a kind of a safe haven, the pound, but generally over the longer term, it's been weakening along with dollar strength. Dollar showing strength, weakness, and the pound is showing considerable strength after that blowout bottom, which is what it turned out to be that we talked about earlier. And we've got this trend line coming down. If we reach this trend line right now, we'd be at 133, 1.33. We're now at 1.29. So that's 400 or 500 pips above us. We could go even higher up to these highs here, or this high, both, there's a double top here, and that is at 1.3, call it 1.35. So I'm calling for the pound to get to 1.33 to 1.35. That's that red line, that's that green line there, 1.35, trend line 1.33. And then to finish it off, dollar yen, this one's pretty simple. And I think we're going to see this dollar strength flowing more into the yen, dollar weakness rather, flowing into the yen, into yen strength, more so than it does flow into euro pound strength, because the overall direction for the euro and the pound is actually downwards. I think we're going to yen strength more than euro and pound strength. And that means that this chart is going to go down. This is the dollar yen. We're going to see yen strength. Look how we've come up to the underside of this quite long-term trend line. This is a day chart. We've just tagged it from underneath after a massive collapse over the last couple of weeks, and then setting up for a beautiful continuation lower. I think we're going to see 128 to 130 on the dollar yen in coming weeks and months towards the end of this year. So that's what I think on those pairs. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you what we're going to do. I'll share what Ghost has to say. Very, very similar stories here. So I've got the euro on screen. Let me know when you can see that. So we do a weekly forecast. The last forecast we did was at the cross of the purple, and we said it would get up to this line here, 112.88. It missed it by 12 pips. So very, very strong forecast. So we know that the system can be really good on a relatively short-term basis. Let's just look at it from an hour's perspective, and we look at this long wave. We talked about these highs. We get these highs on this, and they happen in the past, and then it takes a long, long period of time, and then you get the price up to those levels. What we're seeing here is this classic symbol here means that this should go up. This is a long signal on our tooling. You can see that we've got these levels up here, and they're quite high. I mean, they're 118 and 1189. This is like a trend line that I've drawn manually, similar to the one that you had. So what I'm expecting is this is in the very short term, and let's look at it in the very short term. What I'm expecting is on euro for it to sort of go down into this zone here, 112 down to 111, somewhere in this region around here, and then I expect it to start going back up again. And that's what we recorded in our weekly video. And again, you know, it's going up. And if we look at pound, we actually recorded a spike at 1337. We have no signals from Ghost above 1337 at all. So literally 13377 is the number. Okay, and I think that corresponded with your 133. I mean, you were even talking about 135, but we don't have anything in Ghost for that high.
If we hit this trend line right now, it's 1,333.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
I mean, this is the beauty about holographic decryption, because basically the market has been signaling from all this way back here. You know, the way this stuff works is you get these highs. There's a pattern formation. You get these little spikes like a comb. Those are on the bottom. That means the trend long term is up in this particular case. And, you know, it takes a long time for those prices to come, weeks and weeks and weeks, 8 to 12 weeks even. But they are materialized. And in this case, you can easily see how this could get to 133 here. But there is nothing beyond 133 on the Ghost Enterprise. We've got another product here, which is exactly the same as the complicated one I've just been showing you. It's just a dumbed down version, and you can pull 25 FX pairs on it, and it will give you a prediction, and it shows you what it thinks is going to happen, whether it's an extraordinary move, and you've got a whole load of different pairs there, 25 you can look at.
Very nice. Now, how can people watching this get hold of that? I'll put a link to your website in the comments below. Mm-hmm. And what does it cost? How much does it cost?
So we are doing a beta test on MKT Ghost. So we're currently pricing that at $300 per month, but we can offer discounts for beta testers. We have the MKTRedline Pro, which is $9.99, and that is, you know, everybody who's in the market should have that. It's just a very nice safety feature. And then we have the MKT Risk Index, which is particularly useful for people who are investing, equity trading, and wanting the ability to rotate in and out of risk assets. That is $150 per month. But if you buy the top end, you get everything. So if you buy the 150, you get the Redline Ghost. Everything's included.
Okay. And the $9, did you say $9?
Yep, $9.99.
That's the Redline Pro.
Yes, that's the gauge. And we offer a free version. Yeah, we offer a free version, but it doesn't update very often. It's just to illustrate to you how it works. But the Redline Pro for $9.99 a month, it will potentially save you if there is something very scary happening in the marketplace. It will at least give you a warning, and you get an email warning as well with that.
Okay. Awesome. And then also to mention, Lee is part of my Telegram channel. It's a separate channel, but it's linked in with mine. And Lee puts up day trades on there on some days during the week, directly out of your M1, the 1 minute chart signals that you get from MKT. Can you explain how that works?
Certainly. Just let me share.
I see your signals going up in there. I don't know exactly how. It's a bit of a mystery how you do it, but you've showed me. But it's a bit of an art.
It is a bit of an art. So basically, what we've got here, let me know when you can see, is we've got a set of pairs, crosses, and we've got underneath, we've got the M1 signals. Now, these M1s are only available in MT4 platform because that's all we've coded them to. But effectively what they are is the relationship between the actual price move, which is shown in green, and the corresponding flows that we have recorded in a holographic perspective. And what does that mean? So this is dollar yen. And what this shape here at the beginning of this here is telling me is that dollar yen is going to spike upwards very soon. Out of nowhere, it's just going to go upwards. And we might see prices and dollar yen at 140.08, which is somewhere up here. So I would be getting ready to make a trade on that. And of course, if dollar yen's going to spike up, we want to see the euro come down. And we can see here that the prices that we've got here at the front, because this shape is all nicely matching, there's a gap here, and prices have just drifted up, but they're going to come down. So we would be shorting euro, possibly pound at the same time, whilst buying dollar yen in this particular example.
And these are not long-term trades or swing trades. These are day trades. You're in and out quite quickly, and aiming for, as from what I've seen, 5 to 10 to 30 to 40 pips.
Exactly.
And in and out super quick.
You're in and out, and we can get about 67% effectiveness in terms of win rate with it. You've got to be quick though.
Yeah, so I've seen you trading that. I've seen it through the Telegram, and we've done a bit of live trading together with real money, and it's been good. So if you'd like to get hold of those live signals, I'll put the link in the comments below again as well, to my community, ArcisFX. There'll be a link there, and to my website. And in that community, Lee also has a channel where you can see Lee, we didn't talk about dollar yen. The dollar yen, you saw my idea earlier, looking for a retracement back up into this purple trend line, which we've seen so far, perhaps a little bit higher. We've got the 50-day moving average, that thin red line above us. And we've got this major swing high at 141. We're at 140-ish now, not quite there. So somewhere between 140 and 141, I think we're going to see the yen collapse down and make a new low down through this 200-day moving average and head down towards 130 and perhaps lower. And that's down right at this bottom, which we saw at the beginning of the year. Does that sort of align with what you're seeing on your gear?
I'm just going to pull it up. Give me a second, and we can read exactly what is there. So,
well, I think eventually 130 and maybe 128. Okay. So down at these lows again. So that's 128. We're at 140, just below 140 now. I think we're going to see a move up. We might turn around where we are at the moment. I think it's a good, strong possibility. Make a lower high compared to this left-hand shoulder, but there's a chance we could get up to 141 and make a new right-hand shoulder and then move down. But I think eventually towards the end of the year, back down to the bottom, 128.
So this is the long wave. So there is a very large probability of it getting to 134.7 based off of these dotted lines here on a big pullback. Okay, we are seeing these markers here for going back up to 146, and there's even this one up here, which is 150. But that could be a reversal signal, which we sometimes get on those. It could be a future price. We don't know at this stage. Now, in terms of your next moves, we should see it. It's certainly in the next few days, it's going to be it's heading up to 140 sort of one, because we've already got plenty of markers there on that. But I don't see it getting past 145, 146 anytime soon. I don't think. It's not. Okay. It's not giving me a super easy view. So it's 134 is a probable level, and it should be up into these levels up here.
But you are seeing, and we talked about this in a different meeting, you are seeing divergence on, and you need to correct me here, on the risk index against the yen pairs in general. That there's an unusual divergence. In other words, the yen pairs should be lower than they are according to that gauge or that measurement on the risk index.
That is a longer, medium to long-term play. Now, I can't see it on Ghost because Ghost is looking at the interchange flows and it's picking out future highs. But the range on it is only 8 weeks. Okay, so if there is big lows on Ghost, we would see them. But the risk index is a different it's a different type of technology. It's a different type of thing, and it may well be showing longer term potential drops on yen.
Okay, and that's something that Mark was showing us on his spreadsheets and his tables, and which is a different analysis. But
we could do another session on that, but I don't have the data to hand.
Okay, fantastic. Lee, thank you very much. And anything else you'd like to add to this fantastic intervention live stream with StreamYard. I love it. We're doing a thing on, I'm getting, incidentally, you might be interested in this as well, because there's a correlation between natural gas and MKT as well, believe it or not. Anyway, I might be doing a live stream with Energy Rogue and their crew a little bit later on to talk about natural gas. So it'll be interesting to see. And you have had some comments on natural gas and its relation to the price of natural gas and the relationship with MKT. Some interesting correlations there too. Anyway, good luck today, Lee. Good luck with your trading. We'll do another one of these, maybe once a week.
Yep. Thanks for having me on.
All right, mate. Take care.
Cheers.